What's going on, family? It is Thursday. Thursday, baby. 11 a.m. East Coast time. Therapy time. Time for y'all to get in the Beatdown where you're supposed to be, where you need to be, where we love to see you. What's going on, bro?
Man, I can't call it, bro. It's Thursday, wrapping up the end of the week. I'm looking forward to closing it out strong with some good therapy. We got some things we can discuss today. It ain't a whole lot going on, but enough certainly for us to talk about. We got a lot of fights coming this weekend. We probably gonna get into a little bit more in depth because we won't get talking to people until Sunday after all the damage is done. So I'm here for it. What we got?
Well, we got a couple things, and one of the things that I forgot to talk about all week. Give me one moment. I'm trying to bring it up now. Um,
I'm also hearing the echo in the background. Is
yeah, I
your speaker
noticed that, and
on?
I'm not
All right.
noticing where it's coming from.
Okay.
Hold on. Hopefully that'll. Nope.
Yeah.
No, now it just made it worse. Um.
Oh, I don't hear it at all now.
Okay, I'm just hearing it on my side, but that's okay. I can deal with it. One of the things
Oh, I
that
just heard
that
it now.
I
I did.
saw that I wanted to talk about, and now it went away. It was Yoel Romero, the Red Belly, sent it to me this past weekend, and I found it, and I forgot to bring it on here. Um, the UFC released Yoel Romero, and he went ahead and signed with Bellator. And I
Yeah.
wanted to find out how you felt about that, bro.
I mean, look. Yoel Romero can go on with his career and make decent money in Bellator. Probably definitely win a championship there. I don't know what those guys look like at what is Yoel? Middleweight or light heavy? Either way, wherever he is, um, the UFC needs to sell tickets. Yoel Romero looks like Tarzan, but he fights like Jane. And that's not a disrespect to Yoel. His fight, and I think that last fight against Izzy didn't do him any favors. I think that kind of was the beginning of the end as far as how you could market him. I mean, the guy didn't throw a punch, and he acted like he expected to win the fight. So while I think Yoel Miro is a great fighter, and listen, he has that Cuban background, so I'm pretty sure his striking is pretty good because I'm pretty sure he learned amateur boxing while learning Olympic wrestling in Cuba. But the fact of the matter is, bro, you got to sell tickets. There's to be a demand to see you fight. And although you look scary, bro, we can find guys that don't look as half as bad, half as good as you with your shirt off. That's willing to go in there, spill blood, and get punched around for the sake of people's entertainment. That's what they want. I don't necessarily agree with that theory, 360 degrees, but that's what it is. That's the only reason why they cut him because he's competitive. He's not getting smoked, but again, his style also does not lend him to take very many risks. Same thing you said about Terrell Gachet, not to segue into boxing, but same thing. You got some guys that just aren't going to give you a very lot. This past weekend, we saw Shakur Stevenson against Toka Clary Khan. And Shakur couldn't really do much because the kid didn't really give him much to go on. He landed some shots here and there, but he stayed in the high guard. He stayed shelled up. And I mean, that was the fight. So with that being said, it's a business. You got to sell those tickets. People want to see fights. People want to see blood, especially in the UFC. Yoela does none of that, so it makes sense.
Okay, that makes sense. And you're right. I mean, the last thing we remember from Yoel was him just standing there in front of Izzy. So, but they keep saying he's the most feared fighter in the UFC, and my mom remembered that fight, and she said, "No, he's the most feared looking fighter in the UFC."
Yeah.
Uh, and it's sad that we look at Bellator and go, "Well, he'll go over there, and that's a step down in competition, so he'll probably win a championship." Those guys and the women over there are throwing some leather and stepping up their game. Um,
I didn't mean that in a slight to Bellator. What I'm saying is he'll probably be the bigger name on their resume now, coming from UFC and bringing that pedigree with him. I'm not saying he's gonna walk through those guys. I said that he has just as good a chance as winning there as he does in UFC, except the only
Right.
difference is people in Bellator be willing to pay that to see Yoel Romero versus people in UFC. They don't want to see that. They're tired of that. They've got enough of that over the years.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Look, we got some. Did the Triple G fight happen already? That's what I was
No,
looking.
it's tomorrow. It's
It's
tomorrow. It's
tomorrow.
Friday night.
Friday night.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Have you looked at his competition anymore to kind of get an evaluation on that?
Bro, listen, this is the part where I have to be completely honest with the fan base out there, the Fighter Show Nation. I am human, and sometimes some things just don't interest me. And that is not excuse me to do my job because my job is to know about all these guys. But in full transparency, I'm not interested in this fight at all. I mean, I'm not gonna watch it. I mean, I will watch it, but I'm not gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it because I need to watch it, but I'm not expecting anything from it. Hopefully, he beats this guy, so at least that way he'll still have some legitimacy as far as Triple G. But if this fight is anything other than a wash, this is all bad for Triple G. So with that being said, no, I know nothing about the opponent or anything else for that matter.
Okay. Wow. All right. Um. Hey, I think we may have solved the echo on my side finally.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't hear anything.
Nope, it's still coming through on my end, but that's all right. That means I gotta listen more intent to you. Uh, listen, we have the big fight everybody's talking about is Canelo Suleiman Canelo Alvarez fighting Callum Smith this weekend, Saturday. So if you're a boxing fan, you have 2 good days of boxing, um, at least, and then you got a UFC fight coming up. We'll talk about that because we realize that card is going to be pretty stacked with people we really want to see. But give me your feelings on the Canelo Alvarez fight Saturday night.
Yeah, I talked about this a lot on the show yesterday. This is a good fight for Canelo. I think this is going to be a good fight. I think that for what Canelo is doing, the obvious COVID effect that we've been seeing in every aspect of our life, I think this is Callum Smith is a respected champion. He's earned his keep. Okay, he deserves to be here. And not only that, but Callum Smith also feels like he can win this fight. He comes a family of fighters. Him and his brothers are all fighters. So this is someone who's going to be ready to take on a challenge. I'm sure Canelo will be more than motivated and happy. I just watched some lead-in programming for that fight. Um, and you know, Canelo seems to be very focused. So does his opponent. Callum Smith has 2 belts, I think. Mm, but all the belts are on the line here. So yeah, man, this is a good fight. Um, I think Callum Smith is going to be tougher than people think. Well, that being said, we know Canelo is arguably the best fighter on the planet, pound
Yeah,
for
yeah,
pound. So we don't pick winners on this show, but I'm expecting a good fight. I'm expecting a good crowd for as many as you can squeeze into to the Alamo Dome, just like they did for uh, Javante and Leo Santa Cruz. So let's see what happens, man.
why do you think this fight is not happening in Jerry's world like the Spence fight?
I don't know. Maybe a booking issue. The Cowboys may have a home game on Sunday. Maybe there's a college football. It's so many things going on. You never know. Maybe it costs more to have COVID spacing things in place at a bigger venue like that, where a smaller venue may not cost you as much. I don't know. I'm not a promoter. I'm not involved in logistics. They're having a crowd, and that's all that matters. And the crowd will be at capacity for whatever the Alamo Dome in San Antonio and the leaders of that city say is safe. So whatever that number is, it's going to be at that number, and they're going to pay premium price for those tickets. So I don't think it really matters too much that it's not in Jerry's World. Maybe
Okay,
we know it ain't because they can't sell the tickets. That's definitely not a problem.
right,
So
right.
yeah,
And it's interesting that it's in San Antonio, um, at the Alamo Dome or whatever they call it now. At one point, San Antonio was actually known as the most diverse city in the United States as far as ethnic populations. It, it's a very beautiful city, um, but if I'm promoting a fight, I'm looking at Dallas or Houston just for the population alone and the positioning. San Antonio is nice though. It's nice.
I don't think
And
that matters as much as you think
and
because San
again, you can't
Antonio,
fill the place. So
yeah. And listen, San Antonio is all those cities in Texas are growing, right? San Antonio is another fast growing metro area. But here's the thing, it's the same population, bro. You're still pulling in a Mexican hardcore boxing fan base. So with that being said, it doesn't matter. Your demographic from San Antonio to Dallas to Houston only varies in when we're talking about the black population. Outside of that, Mexicans are in San Antonio, Houston, and Dallas, and they're the ones that come out buying all tickets in droves. So I don't think the location really matters on this one. Oh, and also, bro, remember this fight was kind of made the last minute. That may have something to do with it too.
yeah,
This fight was not planned out, as far ahead as the Spence Garcia fight. So maybe that has something to do with it too.
because we went from going to court and leaving the zone to getting in the ring.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that probably has something to do with it too.
So have we pulled up the card? Do we know who's on the undercard for that, or does it not really matter?
I did see this young prospect out of New Jersey. Man, I can't call his name. I just watched the lead-in special yesterday. But no, knowing that I've really, I haven't looked at the card really, bro. I haven't done any research on the undercard to see who's there. I'm only there for the headliner because I'll be making sure I'm back on time for that UFC card because all those fights are going to be good. So we know we got to be there for the Canelo headliner, but I don't want to miss Jose and Marlon. I don't want to miss Greg Hardy and Marcin Tibera. I don't want to miss any of those fights. And I dang sure ain't gonna miss the main event. So yeah, forgive me for having to split my combat love here and say, hey, I'm only in boxing for Canelo. But for this UFC card in particular, I want to see all of the TV card because I think all these fights are gonna be ultra competitive.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it myself, man. So what else you got?
Hey, I can't believe you start the show out without acknowledging the birthday of your favorite fighter, one Emmanuel Pacquiao. Turns 42 today. Eight division world champion. If we technically calling that gap a weight division. Let's give Pacquiao some love here. You really, really, really stick it to him. But all things said, he's a great fighter. Throughout three different decades, not many have ever done that. So I'll let you have the floor and you tell me some of your best Manny Pacquiao moments without bringing up anything that got to do with a needle or a drug test.
Um, let's see. Um, when he got souped up to fight Keith Thurman.
My thoughts exactly. I see you're not going to come here and do your job today, sir. So I guess I will have to
I
step in and
am
do this
doing
for
my
you
job.
because
No,
you know
I
you.
am doing my job. Listen, Pacquiao was a great fighter. He's a great fighter to stay in the game as long as he has and still hold a strap. Now how he got that strap is questionable by people who have eyes. Um, listen, he made me question him when it took him so long to actually go ahead and take the comprehensive drug test that Floyd Mayweather was demanding before that fight could happen. And then after that fight, how it seemed like age was starting to get the best of him. Even though I think he beat Jeff Horn, and most of the people that saw the fight with me thought he really beat Jeff Horn, but Jeff Horn was able to get to him. And Pacquiao wasn't able to do the damage to him that he had been able to do to some people in the past. And he looked like age was starting to grab him from then on until he got in the ring with Thurman. So when people say, "Why are you always talking about the drug test?" Because if I have anybody getting in the ring with Manny Pacquiao, you're definitely gonna know without a shadow of a doubt if he's clean or not. So just like Canelo, people are not gonna let that go. They call him the best fighter in the world still, but they're not gonna let him forget that he popped dirty. I'm not letting Pacquiao forget how he looked and how many fights leading up to the Thurman fight, and then you look back like you've dropped 12 years off your age when you get in the fight with Keith Thurman. meaning your punch resistance just went sky high.
Mm-hmm.
Not that you were any faster, but you didn't have to really keep your hands up at all
Right.
against Keith One Time Thurman. So happy birthday. I'm sure the dealers are going to be real happy with you today.
Wow. Okay. Well, that a way to acknowledge someone's trip around the sun. So I'll do you one better. I'll give more of a respected and educated take on Manny Pacquiao. Although we share a lot of the same thoughts when it comes to those type of things that seem to be skeletons in Manny's closet, I won't hold those against him, at least not right now, because he's still currently fighting. I'll say those accusations and those things for when his career is over, when he really has to sit down and answer them. Right now, he's generating too much money, so he doesn't have to answer those questions to anybody, because whoever, for whatever he did and whatever he didn't do, people still gonna pay to see him fight, and that's all that matters right now, especially nowadays. With that
Yeah.
being said, man, I thought that Manny Pacquiao. I remember watching Manny Pacquiao my senior year in high school on USA fights, Tuesday night fights. And it was funny because he had on No Fear shorts, and that was when No Fear was this. I guess No Fear was. I don't know what brand is kind of taking over from what No Fear used to be, but No Fear was like the edgy alternative, not quite skater, but just kind of alternative wear. And I see this guy bouncing around the ring with these shorts on that look way too big for him. That's really what I remember. Couldn't say nothing about the fight, none of that. I just remember this guy. And I remember over the years I keep seeing it, man. I remember I actually sat down and gave him a real watch. This was probably about 10, 12 years ago, man. I think he was fighting Edison Miranda.
Yeah.
And I really had to take notice because by this time he had been whooping people and he was a champ, he had won champs in all these different weight divisions. So I'm like, man, let me really sit down and give this guy a real look at it. I had watched him, but just from a casual perspective. And when I saw him, what? No, it wasn't Edison Miranda. Was it Joshua Clottey? I get, what's so sad. I get Clottey and Edison Miranda confused. I think it was Joshua Clottey. I think that's who he was fighting at Jerry's World. And the way he just beat Clottey up, and if you remember anything about Joshua Clottey, he was a puncher. And Manny just beat the break. I was so shocked. I was so shocked. Uh, so that's when I really started honing on who he was as a fighter, and I started watching him. And of course, as years go on, he just kept, whooping people. And then you had the trilogy with Juan Manuel Marquez, who's one of my favorite Mexican fighters. Well, one of my favorite fighters of all time, but definitely one of my top 2 or 3 Mexican fighters of all time. And when Manuel Marquez flatlined him, and I thought he was dead, and so everybody else that was watching me at the fight, I thought Manuel's career was over. Because at this point, you got to think he was what, 33, 34. It's just, you know, and the man bounces back and continues on with his career. No matter how I feel about the Keith Thurman fight, the Jeff Horn fight, you got to give the man credence for the amount of dedication he's given to this sport. At 42 years old, not only is he still fighting, he's still the current champion. That is phenomenal. He's not the only one to do it. Some other people have done it. But at this small weight class, it's just a rarity because at this stage, and then in these weight classes, so much of your game is predicated on speed, reflexes, and timing, all of which you start to lose as you age. Now, what you do get is you get smarter, you get more experience. So as those skills decline, you're able to turn your game into more of a cerebral game and do things and, kind of set your punches up better and so on and so forth. But I think by the time he's done, we'll have to acknowledge him as being one of the all-time greats. And one thing he is completely overshadowed from is he fought everybody. He fought everybody, no matter whether you're at the beginning of your career, the middle of your career, or till the end of your career. Now that you have to take your hat off to.
Oh yeah.
So, so yeah. Now I don't necessarily agree with his politics or his, or some of his other takes, but this ain't what we're here for. We're going to talk about combat sports and fighting. He seems to be a man that really, gives this sport a lot. So I want to give him his flowers while he's still here, but I think it's only fair.
I, you know, I'm not gonna pick at him about this. I just thought it was funny that when he was getting ready to fight Mayweather, he went on the 700 Club to do an interview about the fight, and to hear Pat Robertson talk about him fighting the evil Floyd Mayweather, I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah, for real.
It was just funny to me. I actually have recorded the interview, but knowing that they would probably shut us down if I ever played it on here, I just deleted it. But it was hilarious to see Manny come on and talk about his faith and his salvation and how they were praying for him to whip the evil one in Las Vegas. I was like, that is insane, bro. To me, that was insane. But yeah, that's just me. I don't want to. I never really want to get on here and offend anybody. So
No, listen, it ain't even about that. And you brought up something that was legit. I mean, at that time, that was something that was completely out of the box to do. But given that this man is who he is in regards to his faith and his views on religion and all that, it kind of makes sense. But I've done it now. But listen, we can't say it didn't help or didn't hurt. I mean, we don't know if it helped or hurt, but we know they sold a lot of tickets. So
yeah, you're right. I mean, when you fighting Satan in the ring, and it's just interesting who they peg as Satan. But yeah, it sold a lot of tickets, bro. What is on TV behind you?
that would be one Carol Danvers. Miss, more affectionately known now as Captain Marvel. It used to be Miss Marvel back in the day, but that's
Okay,
Captain Marvel back there. Yeah, that's what's going on. You know, I have to keep the Marvel stuff going, bro. For the people that don't want to hear us talk about combat sports, they can watch a good movie in the process. See, Blockbuster Video. Right? When last time you seen one of them? They don't even exist no more, right?
hey,
They should have
listen.
took it. They
The,
should have took the deal with Redbox.
I was gonna say they just had a special on YouTube about the rise and fall of Blockbuster, and you're right. But then Redbox probably wouldn't have gotten to where it was had they. But then they also had an opportunity to buy Netflix.
Mm.
So it's like, man, you turned down two huge deals, Redbox and Netflix, both still around. So, but there are a few Blockbuster videos still around in this country. Very few, but they're still around. So,
Really?
and
I
yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah, on that special as of 2018.
So
So,
check this out. So I was going to try to do something impressive that I was going to totally goof on, and I was going to try to name all the worthy opponents that Manny Pacquiao has fought. I'm glad I did because I would have really messed this up. Listen to these names, bro. Marco Antonio Barrera,
mhm,
Juan Manuel Marquez,
mhm.
Eric Morales twice, three times. Marco Antonio Barrera, Juan Manuel Marquez four times, David Diaz, Oscar De La Hoya, Ricky Hatton, Miguel Cotto, Joshua Clotter, Antonio Margarito, Shane Mosley, Timothy Bradley, Brandon Rios, Chris Adjeri, Floyd Mayweather, Jesse Vargas, Jeff Horn, Lucas Matisse, Adrian Brown, and Keith Thurman.
Wow,
Bro, bro.
wow.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So just want to give our fans a little bit of that. Now we can go on with our blockbuster man. So, oh, we got a blockbuster in Alaska. Okay, well, that explains why it's still working.
And of all people to find it, the red belly,
Yeah.
the red belly. Yes, appreciate that.
You
There's
know what they
one
should
thing.
start doing? You know, they were smart. Whoever owns that franchise, or I guess just that store because they much of a franchise
Well,
now,
that's it. I mean, they
they
don't
should
have
make it.
cable there.
Listen, they should make that a tourist spot. You know, people will go there just to be like, "Yo, look what I found." Like if
Mhm.
you're a kid born in the '80s or early '90s, and anything before that, you
Look,
remember Blockbuster Video, bro.
just to get that blockbuster popcorn bucket.
Yep,
But
yep. And then to go in there and see the disappointment because the case is not behind the movie that you wanted to see, which means for you kids don't know anything about that. If there's no case behind the actual movie that they were advertising, that means the movie wasn't in stock. But if you had hookup, you had a friend that worked there, you knew what days the movie was supposed to be returned. So your friend would call you the day the movie was, hey, you know the movie come back today. I bet.
wow,
And you go up there and wait for them to return the movie and you get it.
you're right. You're right,
The
man.
things we did for entertainment back then, bro. These kids know nothing
Boy,
about
you
it.
you taking me back when I start really. Woo. I mean,
Yeah.
I start.
Or you call your friend and work up there and say, hey man, extend my run out a couple of days, man. I ain't gonna bring it back tonight. I got somebody I'm trying to watch it with. Come
It,
on, bro. That was a thing back in the day,
it
bro.
was.
Before
Hey,
Netflix and chill, you had to work it out, bro.
but do you remember their main competitor? Because they had adult movies in the very back. Their main competitor,
movie
Hollywood
gallery,
Video?
Hollywood Video. We didn't have a Hollywood Video back home. We had Blockbuster, we had Movie Gallery, and we had Specs. We didn't have Hollywood Video. I think the closest Hollywood Video might have been, it may have been in Orlando or Tampa, because I don't even think Polk County had, the only thing they had in Polk County, I could be wrong, because I'm
Wait a
not
minute.
from Polk County, but
You
yeah, we
said
didn't have,
Specs?
yeah, we had a Specs.
They had music too, didn't they?
Yeah. And they did movie rentals.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Man. Whew. Back in the good days. Good old
Back in the
days, I
days,
guess.
bro.
Back before we knew what we were missing.
Be kind. Rewind. Oh, remember that?
Wow.
Yeah, everybody putting on their movie cassettes. Hey, when you get done, just rewind it back. So next people to watch it, they can put it right in and watch it. I
Yeah.
never rewind my movies, by the way. I was an asshole.
Listen, I had a buddy who would buy the movies from the discount bins, and he, he would take the tape and he would run a magnet across the tape. He would record the tape, make a copy of the video, and then run a
Wow.
magnet across the original one
What a
and
what
take.
a what a boy. He was such a he's not a nice person.
Yes, he
I
is.
can say that. He was not a nice person. No, that
Yes,
was
he,
mean. That was cruel, bro. Why would you do that, bro? Why would you do that?
because you could take it back and say, "Hey, this didn't work," and then you would exchange it for another one in the bin, a different one, and you take it, make a copy of that, and eventually they're gonna catch on. But
Yeah, after like the 10th time, right? You done brought back 10 movies. Come on, bro.
I ain't gonna lie though, people did stuff like that like crazy, or just rent movies, rent a bunch of them for one day, copy them all night long, and take them back the next day.
I mean, yeah. I mean, to be look, hustling, scamming, beating the system, getting over. These aren't things that are new. These things are only new because the whole world gets to see them. But across all cultural boundaries and racial classes and all that stuff, people always gonna try to beat the system. It ain't until you try to label one group of people as habitual offenders and try to act like no one else does it is where you get the problem. But
Right.
yeah, people have been doing stuff like this, but this is nothing new. It's funny that you said it because when you started saying, I knew exactly what you were talking about. It's so
Of
disrespectful.
course. I'm, I mean, when the look on your face let me know, okay, this is not news. This is just bringing back memories.
Oh man, so many, bro. So many. So many.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I was involved in some of that when I was younger. It was. I won't even tell you what we did with the CDs, but yeah, it was.
Oh yeah, man. See, these was bro. Man, yeah, let's not incriminate ourselves. What else we
Listen,
got, man?
listen. Last thing, since you took me down this trip, I had a buddy who found an old cassette
Okay.
that he made, audio cassette, and he put it in. He still has a cassette player in his house, a boombox, and he was listening to it, just sitting back in his chair. And his kids walked in like, "Dad, what's that?" And he's listening to the cassette, and in the middle of the cassette, he can hear himself go, "Dang, mom, I'm recording." It was back in the day when you had to put
That's
two radios
dope.
back to back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. So here's one that you're not going to be able to relate to. But back where I'm from, especially in the early 90s, we only had one radio station. 933 was the Power Pig now. Some of you just know it as 933 FLZ Hits. Before it was that, it was the Power Pig. Bubba the Love Sponge was the DJ. That was
What
based
you
out of
wait a minute,
Tampa.
wait a minute. What you mean I'm not gonna be able to relate to? I remember the
Because I
Power
didn't get
Pig
to because I
before
didn't
Bubba got there.
because I didn't get to the point of the story. Let me
Okay, go
finish.
ahead.
So, but we also know that Power Pig plays the music that pretty much plays now, which is rhythmic top 40. So you only hear maybe one or two songs that you like every other hour. So for us, with the closest radio station that we could get that played hip hop music for us was 102 Jams out of Orlando, but you could only get it late at night when the radio signals had least resistance, they could travel further. And I remember my cousins sitting in front of that radio in the living room with the boom box and the tape trying to record. So yeah, that's where you brought me back. That was what I was talking about when I said you may not know, but apparently 102 Jams was what you guys had too, wherever
Bro,
you were.
I lived in Brooksville. We got 101.9 early in the morning, sometimes mid afternoon, very rarely, but then like you said, late at night, or depending on where you drove in Brooksville, we
That
would
too.
get
Yeah.
102 jams.
Hmm.
That was yes, yeah. I wanted to move to Orlando just for
Just
that.
for 102
I didn't care about anything else going on in
Yeah.
Orlando.
Yeah.
Because you got to understand, when I would leave here and go home to Baltimore, soon as you got off the train and hit the city, you heard hip hop,
Yeah.
you
Hmm.
heard R&B.
Yep.
It was phenomenal. And then down here, every
Small
once in a
town
while,
Florida. Yeah.
Q105 played it,
Hmm.
and then Q105 got phased out by 93.3 when they came on,
Hmm.
which they had the Three Little Pigs in the morning, and then
Hmm.
yeah, and then they would play stuff Q105 just wasn't going to play.
Right.
Um, oh man, you really took me back. Oh my goodness. Last thing, back in the 80s, there was a song called Your Mama. I don't know if you remember that. It was around 1984,
Who rapped it?
1982, 1982. I gotta look it up. But
Okay.
it was like anything, your mama. Tell the DJ, your mama. Tell your best friend,
Mm.
your mama. Well, I remember on Q105, the DJ at night was like, I need y'all to stop calling in telling me your mama. It was
Wow.
There's crazy stuff that like nowadays people look at you and go, that would never happen.
Hmm.
Because it was rare that you would ever see or hear, it was rare then that you would hear that kind of music. And then when Q105 would decide to play it or WTMP would decide to play it,
That's what I thought you were going to say because we didn't get WTMP back home. So it was only, I thought that only you guys got it. Okay.
yeah, it was but TMP played more R&B, and then every once in a while they play like
Yeah.
New York, big city of dreams. When I remember when that dropped, I you could hear the DJ and his partner pull it out the rapper,
Hmm.
pull the album out of the rapper. That's just
Hmm.
how I knew it was when they played it. They didn't have to screen music when they got it in. They put it on. If they could put
Oh
it on,
yeah,
they
for
put it
sure.
on.
Well, because it was coming from the label, so it was
Yeah,
already understood that whatever you would, yeah.
but then we had a station here, Kenny K, 88.5 WMNF.
Hmm.
Friday nights, baby. That's where you would hear everything that you couldn't hear on radio here. He would get it straight from New York, DC, Chicago. You would hear house music. You would hear, hip hop from New York. You would hear some go go from DC. Kenny K really should have been on regular mainstream radio, not 88.5, but he built it, and I forgot who took it over after him. But he really got 88.5 and put it on the map when they gave him an opportunity to do that show at 11 o'clock on Friday nights, because that's where you really heard like the Beastie Boys and new, because you could hear Run DMC every once in a while on the radio, but like new stuff like NOG and the Bulldogs, Special K. That's why I first heard Push It by Salt and Pepper. It was, I don't believe we got on the subject, but yeah, I'll get off it right now. But man, you took me back. Shout out to Kenny K lost his life actually. I think it was kidney failure, but he was the one who kind of pumped Digital Underground because a lot of people don't know Digital Underground was from Tampa.
Yeah.
And then they went out. They claimed Oakland, but they went out to Oakland to get on. But they were running around following Kenny K here in Tampa. My bad, bro.
No, no, bro, that's cool. I mean, listen. This is all familiar with me, so I'm okay with it.
But I know people tuned in to hear combat sports, and I'm going off on classic hip hop.
Mhm.
Oh, my bad, family. Hey, but more people tuned in while we were talking about classic hip hop.
But yeah, so so back to these fights, man. So now we've getting with Manny Pacquiao his roses, and we talked briefly, but we did cover the upcoming fight tomorrow and Saturday night on the Zone production. Let's get your thoughts on this UFC card, man. So, what fight are you most interested in seeing and why?
Let me pull the card up, bro. There were a couple when you brought them up the other day that just jumped out at me, and I was like,
You got Marcin Tiberi, Greg Hardy, the heavyweight, Jillian Robertson, Talia Santos, women's flyweight, bantamweight, Marlon Moraes against Rob Fant,
that one.
welterweight, Michael Perrier against Kaylin Chaos Williams, bantamweight, Jose Aldo versus Marlon Vera, and the main event, Stephen Thompson against Jeff Neal.
I want to see the Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Who's he fighting again?
Jeff Neal.
Jeff Neal. I want to see that one, and the Marlon Moraes fight.
Yeah, Marlon Moraes against Rob Fant. I think that's going to be a good fight too,
Yes, yes.
bruh. To be honest with you, man, I think all these are going to be good. I'm gonna be locked in for all of them. Obviously, for me, I want to see Chaos Williams against Michael Perrier. I think that's going to be interesting. The amount of experience Michael Perrier has against K9 Chaos. He want to call that man K9. Sidebar: is K9 from Detroit?
I'm not sure.
K9 Bundridge, the boxer. Okay, I thought he was from Detroit. Okay, my bad. I was about to say that's why I'm getting him and
He
Chaos
might
Williams mixed
be.
up.
He might be.
Either
I'm just not
way,
sure.
okay. But yeah, either way, I'm wanting to see what Chaos does, man. He needs a good win. He needs to bounce back. I'm ready to see what he does against Michael Perrier. Jose Aldo Mar Rivera is going to be a good one. But I've been on Jeff. I've been hot on Jeff Neal. Remember when I was hot on who did I jump on earlier? That I told you about my guy just got beat up.
Mike.
Dominic Reyes.
Yeah.
Dominic Reyes. I'm also high on Jeff Neal. So part of me really wanting to see that. But man, all these fights leading up to it are going to be good. All of
Hey, you know
them.
who else fights on Saturday?
Who?
Lenroy TNT Thomas.
Oh wow! Now that's what we're talking about. Who's his opponent? And that's on the zone card. Which one? Friday or Saturday?
That's gonna be Saturday.
Okay, so he's on the Canelo undercard. Okay, cool, cool. Who's
And
the
that
opponent?
wait a minute, that's gonna be in Germany?
Oh, that's not. Oh, he has. Okay, we got ahead of ourselves. For those that don't know, Leroy TNT Thomas is a heavyweight fighter based out of St. Pete. He's a local fighter. We know him. He's a friend of the show. We've spoken to Leroy a few times. I knew Leroy when he was just a bouncer before he became a boxer. So, not. I shouldn't say that. I met Leroy before he became a full-time boxer. Let me
Right.
say that. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I really want to know who he's fighting, bro. Did you get the opponent? Is there anybody that we know?
It doesn't say the opponent on the flyer. It just says he's gonna be on Build TV.
Okay, in Germany. Well,
BILD.
good luck to TNT, man. We didn't know he was fighting, brother, but we're on it now, so we will be looking out to see the results of that fight. He's probably already gone, I'm sure, if he's overseas. He's probably been there for a while already.
Yeah.
But if he's tuned in or anybody that's that keeps in contact with him, let him know that we send him our best regards, man. We hope he do his thing. He's another one that needs to win.
Yes.
He needs to win impressively. So this is a good thing. So hopefully that brother can take care of business over there. You say it's in Germany, right?
Hamburg, Germany, yeah.
Mm. Okay. Well, there it is.
I was trying to find my link that gave me all my cards. There it is. Um, yes, I wish I had more information on that fight, honestly. I apologize. But I just remember him sending out a flyer and we talked about it on this show one day a couple weeks ago about it, and I forgot to bring it up earlier this week about his fight on the 19th. Limroy's a good dude. Last fight I saw him in was one of the Bombs Away, I think Bombs Away 7 in St. Pete. We got an in-ring interview with him. Nice guy, man. Nice guy.
Yeah. Limburg's a cool guy, and he got the stoppage that night.
Yes.
Yeah.
When he's
So,
not punching you in the face, he's a nice guy. So
but
yeah,
yeah,
we
man. Hey, so sidebar conversation. This happens from time to time. Did you see where Jimmy Butler, Jimmy Buckets, right? Um, did you see where
what happened? Uh-oh. Where'd he go? Well, he'll be back in shortly. Wow. Okay. Hey, when you're live, sometimes things like this happen, family. So we just keep it moving. We keep it moving. Um, Look, he was talking about some of the fights. The Anthony Pettis Alex Morano fight is going to be good as well come Saturday. Looking forward to that fight. Really like Anthony Showtime Pettis. Like the way he moves in the ring, or in the octagon rather. It's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a good fight. But that Mullen Marias Rob fight is going to be just because of the way Marias fights. It's going to be a great fight. All right, my partner looks like he's back. Bro, we lost you.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but that was crazy.
But you got back quickly. Appreciate that.
Yeah, my bad there. What was what was I talking about now? I was getting ready to go somewhere with this, and then that happened. I lost my thoughts. Oh, sidebar. Yeah, so Jimmy Butler, Jimmy Buckets, the darling of the NBA postseason, got his Miami Heat team that wasn't supposed to be there all the way to the finals against the unstoppable force that was the Lakers that would eventually wipe them out in 6 games. Jimmy Buckets has been called the most interesting man in the NBA, and he's doing a very good job of marketing himself as such. Coming from suburban, middle of nowhere Texas to rise to NBA stardom, and not being a guy known for having great athleticism, although I beg to differ there. He's known for having a hard work, pit bull like mentality, right? So Jimmy Buckets, he's the guy, right? So he has a fiance or girl that he lives with. This woman is now blasting him on social media because Jimmy Butler, as we all know, is currently dating Selena Gomez. Bro, what is going on with these NBA players, man? Or should these females that are in these situations understand what they're in and stay in their lane?
I ain't touching that.
Come on.
I ain't touching it.
Come on, Slim. Come on, Slim.
But hey, no. Listen, we we know going in that you got some people that just want to build their name off your fame. Now, if you're monogamous, you ain't got to worry about this mess. Period. We wouldn't even be having this conversation if you kept your thing with one person. But since you can kind of count on people not doing that, now we're in the midst of this conversation. Bro, these are grown people. They need to work it out. I ain't touching.
Well, I mean, I just think it's interesting that she's living in the house with him while he's publicly and currently dating Selena Gomez, by all accounts, who is one of the biggest stars in the world, not just in America, right? Went from Disney to pop singer to now she's, oh, I'm getting confused with Ariana Grande. Either way, Selena Gomez is popular. Wait, don't she sing too? I got these little girls confused. I don't know the difference. But you're stuck at home in the house while this man is out openly dating women. Why are you still there? Why haven't you left? Why
Yeah,
are
it's
you
his
tweeting?
fault.
Why are you tweeting and basically letting everybody on social media platform know that, oh well, yeah, he's doing that, but I'm the one that lives here. But he's already publicly said he was single. He's not in a relationship. So what is really going on? No. All right. All right. I tried to up y'all, but now he's being a Scrooge. He wanted to diss Manny Pacquiao. Now he didn't want to talk about domestic issues. So we're gonna leave it alone. We got about 5 minutes left, so we're gonna leave it alone. We're gonna talk about whatever it is he want to talk about.
I'm good.
How you feel about this college football playoff format he
Come
got?
on, man. You really, you gonna push every button.
I'm just
It's a
saying,
sham.
since when USC became worthy?
It's a sham because I mean, you had Kirk Herbstreit even coming on ESPN radio, and I know he was told to do so, talking about that if they don't expand the college football playoff soon, then schools will start losing interest and realize they have no. And 98% of colleges at this point in the Division 1A level realize that they have no shot because every year you have the same 3 to 4 schools in the conversation whether they deserve to be or not. Um, I never thought I would root for Notre Dame because I don't like Notre Dame. But I'd like to see who they would plug in place of Clemson if Notre Dame beats Clemson this weekend. And I'm one of those that's going to pull for Northwestern, even though I think Ohio State is going to beat them with the woodshed. Um, but if Northwestern beats Ohio State, do you let a 4-1 team in the playoff? Do you let a 2-loss Clemson team in the playoff? Neither one are conference champions. Do
Well,
you
you
let them?
all
Do you let them in, or now do you put a Northwestern team who won the Big Ten? Do you put a Cincinnati if they win this weekend in the playoff, or is it going to be Alabama versus Florida versus Georgia versus Notre Dame?
well, Florida's out. They they punted that away last week, so you ain't got to worry about the
Yes,
Gators being there.
yes,
But yeah, man. I mean, this is what we've been talking about all year, and I've even got sick on this show. I almost lost my life talking about how terrible of a crisis this is for college football. But they're showing it to you. They were not prepared for this, and they didn't take the time to think it through thoroughly. And now you got this whole big old mess that I don't know if you can clean up. I really don't. So it's going to be interesting to see what they put in. Whoever they put in, somebody that don't deserve to be in, they're going to make it. We know that. We know somebody that's more deserving is going to be left out than someone that's in, because that we know for sure happens every year with NCAA. So that's
and if
that's
I'm
that's
not
my truth
mistaken,
of it.
Colorado's undefeated in the Big 12
You ain't
or
heard nothing
Pac
about
12.
them.
They
Oh,
moved to
I
the
haven't
Pac
heard anything
12.
about them. It don't matter. I ain't heard nothing
No,
about
no,
them.
I'm just saying you got a
Yeah,
major conference team who's undefeated, not going to
yeah,
be not
and they're not even
even
in the
ranked
conversation.
high. So it's going to be interesting, bro. It's going to be you got Coastal Carolina who knows they're not going to make it in, even if they played an extra 4 games and went 14-0. They're not going to make it in. Cincinnati, who I think can
Now they
play with
may
any
have a
team in the
shot.
country.
They may have a shot because I think a lot of teams that would have been ranked ahead of them already have two losses. And with Cincinnati being undefeated, I think it's going to be hard to keep out an undefeated mid-major school versus a two-loss school. And I think that, especially like you said, with teams not even playing full schedules, that's going to be a hard one to say. I think Cincinnati has the best chance of the also ends to get in. I think they got the best shot.
We'll see. I would like to see Cincinnati get a chance to play one of those schools, and I think they can run with them. Their defense swarms, um, and they just have a good team, man. They have a
And
good
and
team.
and
And
one
they
thing that the college football format doesn't get credit for, and this is what makes football more compelling than any other sport outside of combat sports. It's one and done. There's no series. So your best players got to be ready every single Saturday, which is why no matter what conference you're in, when you can go undefeated, that is impressive because it says a lot about who your team is and who the coaches are. And everybody buying into the same formula every week to be singularly focused on winning a game in 48 minutes or 60 minutes. So yeah, I think they got a shot,
but
bro. I
did
think it
now
makes
when you
sense.
look back, didn't UCF go undefeated 2 straight years?
Yes, and we all thought they should have been in the conversation as well.
Yeah, I mean
No,
it
we
lets you
all knew that
know.
Central Florida, especially but 16 and 17, we knew that for one game, they could probably be anybody, bro. Because it would have been so hard to keep up. Now I think you'd still favor an Alabama or Ohio State or Clemson when those teams were really rolling a couple years ago. You favored them in that matchup, but Central Florida was doing some great stuff. They had this high profile offense. They were throwing the ball around the field. So yeah, bro, yeah, and we were both in agreement with that a couple years ago. So my stance hasn't
Yeah,
changed on that.
so I just I agree with you. I I think honestly they need to skip 8 and go to 16 teams, but they won't. So I mean, at least go to 8 teams. Put 8 in. I mean, all Power Five conference champions, and then 3 from outside the Power Five. But they won't do it. They're gonna go with Power Five and then put their buddies in to fill in those other 3 spots. And
Yeah,
again, you're gonna exclude those other conferences who, in a one-game shot, could beat you. I agree with you.
right, indeed.
We've seen it happen. I mean, you guys at Central Florida beat Alabama when you played.
Yeah,
Now, I mean, you might say nine
Alabama
times out of
wasn't.
ten,
Yeah,
Alabama
Alabama wasn't.
wins.
Yeah, that was when Alabama was down, but they were still Alabama, and they still had way better players than we did on paper. So yeah,
But should they have lost?
no, they shouldn't have. No,
Right.
we shouldn't have
That's
beat
what
them. No,
I'm just saying,
no,
though.
you're right. You're right. No,
You guys weren't at the top of the echelon either at the time. It was,
no, we weren't. We were independent, just trying to figure it out.
So, oh, shout out to USF for signing Miami's former quarterback, who'll be coming to play for USF next year. He was Miami's starting quarterback last year. Last name Williams. I think his first name was James.
Mm,
He'll be
okay.
starting. I don't know how positive this is because De'Aaron King slid right in and took his spot. But hey, I still say the problem in South Florida is the head coach. But I guess he looks good on screen. So keep him there. Because I'm not really a Miami fan, but I just hate to see. I think Miami winning and being in the championship hunt is good for college football. Shout out to Florida State for getting Mackenzie Milton, Central Florida's old quarterback. Or Central Florida, I mean, University of Central Florida's old quarterback. He'll be transferring. He's transferred to Florida State. He'll be playing there next year for Mike Norvell.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Um, and we're gonna see just how
Wow.
magic McKenzie is. But Florida State's getting a really good recruiting class. They're gonna have some good linemen. Something James Blackman really didn't have to look forward to his freshman and sophomore year were people
Wait,
blocking
wait,
for him.
wait. I can't let you just gloss over that. I know we're coming up against it right now, but I just can't let you skate by with that. Central Florida,
Uh-huh.
the team
Yeah.
that owes all of their recent success to one particular guy, one guy they propped up to be a Heisman Trophy candidate, one guy that they were trying to make the media darling of that program, gets a horrific injury against their arch rival, and you tell him to transfer?
Yes.
Wow. All right, so we're up
And it's
against
a
it now.
done
That's all
deal.
I'm at. Yeah, so that's how I want to end this show. I'm at lost for words because that is interesting. So with that being said, we're up against it, bro. What you got? Wow.
um. Oh, the Jaguars play the who they play this weekend?
What are we doing right now, bro? What are we
Who
doing right now?
the Jaguars play this weekend?
Y'all better be ready to play. I tell you that. Y'all better be ready to play. And I don't want to hear about no Monday night layover. I don't want to hear about none of that. Y'all better be ready to play. That's all I'm gonna say. That's it. I'm done.
And look, we got 3 receivers on the COVID IR
I
list.
ain't listen.
I'm
I
letting you
don't hear none of
know.
that. I
So
don't.
if we whip y'all, I'm gonna
Y'all
talk cash
listen.
trash.
But I tell you
Trust me.
what though, man, and all in full transparency, y'all better win. Y'all trying to get in the playoffs. Y'all can't afford a loss against us. So whereas if both teams had something to lose, no, only y'all got something to lose. We still gonna get like the second or third pick of the draft. So it don't matter. Y'all better win. But if you don't, you might not want to come on this show on Monday. I'll tell you that.
Well, I'd like to thank y'all. I'd like to thank
Yeah.
Jacksonville for providing a nice bye week for us. And but
Okay.
this is the game we end up getting caught. I just this is what I fear. We had this big win on Monday night against a team we should usually dominate, and we just pulled it out in a miracle. And now we play Jacksonville with 3 receivers on COVID and mine probably focused on someone else, and then we make their season.
Don't do it.
Please, Baltimore, please come through.
You know what's
Cause
better
I'm gonna
than
have to
one?
be.
You know what's
Huh?
better than one win? You know what's better than one win? Two wins. And that's what we going for when we get y'all on Sunday. So y'all better be ready to play. I'll tell you that.
I'm gonna have to be sick Monday, but I believe we're gonna come through. So I'll be
I know you.
healthy.
I know where you live. I'll come deliver you a gift.
Shout out to my mom. Shout out to my dad, my wife, my daughter. Praying for her. Fighter Share Nation. Thank you, Quasi Morris, and for chiming in. Thank you, Red Belly, for the Yoel Romero information. Um, Listen, love you guys. Turn it over to this guy over here.
Hey,
Jaguars fan.
you say you praying for Pooh. Everything good?
Um, she's got a procedure coming up tomorrow, so
Okay, we'll talk about it off air.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, shout out to Fighter Share Nation, everybody for rocking with us today. We ain't got much. We had a great show. We covered a lot bit of everything, and a little bit of music because it's the beatdown, right? We got to get back more into that. That's probably more me than this guy, so I'll make sure that happens. Make sure y'all catch us on Sunday at our more refined show at 11:30 a.m. as we discuss the fallout from all the fights on Saturday. Y'all stay safe, be blessed, spread the holiday cheer out there, tapping with your people. Mental health is real. We love y'all. We will see y'all Sunday. We out here. Peace.